just straight ahead or me, whenever.
Okay.
Hey, Decatur. Boy, what a week it's been. The past few days have been filled, really going all the way back to Saturday. We had frozen precipitation, and then we've seen frozen precipitation throughout the week. And we are so thankful for our first responders and our street and environmental department for taking care of us during the middle of everything. Our street and environmental department, I learned yesterday, didn't miss a day of collection this week in light of everything that they had before them. And then I'm honored today to share with you that we're joined by someone who knows all about being a first responder, and that's Decatur Fire and Rescue Chief Tracy Thornton. Chief Thornton, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So, Chief Thornton, just a little history for our viewers. You began your career as at Decatur and Fire in January of 1999, and then during your time with the department, you served as a firefighter, a paramedic, driver, lieutenant. Now, I met you somewhere between lieutenant and
Yes, sir.
BC.
Yes, sir.
But we started working on building a good relationship
Right.
then. So you served as battalion chief, and then a division chief, along with Trent Putman, who was a division, or is a division
He still
chief.
is, yes, sir.
Yeah.
For a little
And-
while.
Yeah, and then here you are now as our fire chief.
Yes, sir.
And we're really proud for you and of you, and thankful for the job that you do.
I appreciate it. I'm blessed and very proud to be able to serve in this capacity.
I guess, what is it, tell us what it's like to be a fire chief.
It's busy. So a lot of, I knew a fire chief would be busy, but I just had no idea of how much you would have your hands on stuff with people needing stuff from you. The guys in the floor that have stuff that they need, they're coming to you. You have your battalion chiefs, division chiefs under you. We're looking at grant programs, EMS, firefighting, hazmat, water operations. You know, you kind of have your hand in a little bit of all that stuff, so it keeps you busy with all that. And then also with like civic organizations and just outreach with the public. There's a lot to it. It's a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of emails. But it's really rewarding to be able to do it.
And serving in itself is very rewarding, and I think to be a firefighter, that's a calling.
Yes, sir.
You've even years ago, I guess you in your off time worked for an ambulance service. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I worked for many years with Athens EMS as a paramedic on the ambulance. I was part-time there on my days off from the fire department, and it had some. It was some really, it was rewarding to do that. Also, it was always good to be able to help people. I think any paramedic or firefighter, they enjoy running the big calls. But some days it's really rewarding when you're able to help somebody that just can't do for themselves, and you're there to help them at that point when they can't do it themselves. They just need a helping hand to get to where they're going, or to a doctor's visit or something along those lines. It was always something a little bit different every day.
Okay. Now you have quite a photo collection.
Yes, sir.
The history of the department, and
Yes, sir.
I've been to a few events where the family comes together and retirees and such, and go through those photos. Those are fun times.
Just by happen chance, really. I mean, it wasn't nothing really I planned on, but it's good. Guys enjoy it. Nobody, they don't want to be in the limelight, and they don't want to focus to be put on them. But everybody likes to see pictures, and it brings back memories. I was looking through some pictures last night, and I see my first crew that I worked with: Lieutenant Eugene Best, driver Mike Smith, and firefighter Carlos Haraway. And all three of those are retired now. But it was an amazing time, and just seeing all four of us back together in that picture, it brought back some memories. I've been lucky enough to have a job that it's always something been enjoyable, something I always wanted to do, something I always enjoyed getting up to go and work at. But it was some crews you had that when you would go to bed, I remember laying in bed one night like poking on my cheeks because they were sore, or we had laughed so much during the day. It's a rewarding job to be a fireman, but it's also really rewarding some of the crews and relationships that you get to build.
The camaraderie.
Yeah, it becomes a family. It is a family.
Sure.
You know, it's like any family. You're gonna argue and fuss and fight sometimes about some things, but it's a family. And
Sure.
we have a home family, we have a work family, and you know, we all care about both of them.
Yeah, as you know, I enjoy visiting the stations, and especially Thanksgiving. And a lot of times the home family will come over for Thanksgiving meal, and hopefully a call won't come in and everybody can have a good time. And even some of the other stations will
Right.
join the station.
Right. A lot of times on holidays, stations will get together and eat together. You know, I love seeing people's families, their wives and families and kids. You know, mothers, parents come up sometimes and have a meal with the firefighters, with their family. And I just think it's always been something really special that we share. It's one of the great things about being a fireman is being able to eat together. And I think it's just a very important thing that it brings them closer together. It does bring a family atmosphere. We try at my house to always sit down when we eat. You know, we want to eat together, and we really try to do that. And on crews that I always worked on, we always try to come together and eat. Now sometimes people be on different diets and not that, but we all sat down at the same time and tried to eat together when we could.
Good.
And it was
I'll
good bonding.
come back to that. So I guess that you've everybody wants to see progression through their career, and being chief is something that you've aspired to serve as. And now here you are chief of the 8th largest fire department, state of Alabama.
Yes, sir.
And I bet you have some goals. What are some of those? What are some goals that you're hoping to achieve?
Man, we have got so many goals that we'd like to get. Unfortunately, most of those goals come attached with price tags on them, so that always makes your goals more difficult. I don't think it's anybody that wants to keep us from getting the goals that we want. We just got to find the way that we can do it within the budget of the city. But one of the big things that we've talked about, I know you've seen some interviews and different things, and you've been in discussion with us about the paramedic incentive. That's such a valuable thing. We've got to do something to try to bring in more paramedics to our city, just for us to be able to keep doing the service that we provide for the citizens. I think our EMS program is a very good EMS program. I think it's one of the best things the city offers. It's one of the best programs the city offers to the citizens, and we can't let that slide away from us. We got to keep our medics here, and we got to make sure that we keep providing that to the citizens.
So by percentage, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yes, sir.
But the number of paramedic EMS type calls as compared to the percentage of fire calls? Roughly.
I would say it's probably in the 70%, 70, 75, 80%. I'd have to look at that number exactly, but I would say it'd have to be pushing over 75% of our calls are EMS type calls.
Okay, thank you.
Another goal, like I said, part of it goes along with that is increase the number of paramedics that we have in our department. We would love to get to where we see we have at least 2 paramedics on each engine. We got to have 1, but we would love to see if we have 2 on each engine to make sure that we are providing the best care that we can for the patients when we go out on the EMS calls. Something real big right now that's going around is this new Station 5. We got to get that completed. The guys have been, the contractor's been working hard. The architect has been over there and been on top of everything. We've got foundations and got footers dug and poured, and they are laying blocks. But temperature right now is keeping the block laying. It's kind of stopped that for a little bit, so maybe we can get everybody back in line. Really, really happy with the progress that we got going on over there.
Now, tell our viewers, where is it located?
Currently, right now, Station 5 is at 2355 Danville Road, Southwest, right next to the mall. And we're gonna be moving a few blocks south on Danville Road at the corner of Danville and Motus Road. It's right across from the middle school. Okay. We got some apparatus that we need to get in a replacement plan. That's a goal to have that. Our ISO rating is a 2.
So what's the ISO?
Insurance services. What they do is they come in and they rank the fire department and some other things in the city, and they apply what your insurance rate is on your houses and businesses and everything in the city. So the lower your rate, the less your insurance will be. Right now we're a 2, and like I said, Huntsville is a 1, Madison is a 1. Several other places around us are 1s, and we need to strive to get to where we're a 1.
Is that based on response time?
It's based on a lot of different things. It's based on equipment, how you, on staffing, how many people you put on scene on emergency calls, fire calls, what time you get them there on that scene. And it also goes and it looks at other sections of the city, like the 911 center. The 911 center right now their rating would be a 1. We got a really good 911 center. It's squared away. The other big part of it that hurts a lot of cities is their water system. We have an excellent water system. The water system is a 1 in the city of Decatur. Really what's holding us at the 2 level is the fire department, and a lot of that has to do with the staffing that we put on scenes. It's going to take an increased number of people on scene to get that 1 rating. And it's just something we're going to have to work within the budget to try to get that taken care of. But I think the city of Decatur deserves to be a 1, just like what their surrounding cities are. I think I do too.
I wouldn't think
I wouldn't either.
Think anything else but that.
Yep.
How many firefighters or just people that work in the department now?
Right now, if we was fully staffed, we'd be at 116.
Okay.
And out of that 116, we have 113 firefighters, and we have 3 civilian employees on that roster. We have 8 stations, and they're spread out all over the city. Each station has at least 1 apparatus. Some of them have 2 apparatus in those stations. Station 1 has an engine and a rescue. Station 2 has an engine and a hazmat truck. Station 7 has an engine and brush truck. But for the most part, we have 1 frontline pumper and some other type of apparatus at some of the stations.
Okay. And those, we cover some major traffic arteries, include I-65.
Yes, sir.
Highway 20.
Yes, sir.
Wilson Street, which is, I guess, Highway 20 on both sides of the bridge is what I'm trying to imply. And some pretty hazardous cargo goes up and down.
Yes, sir.
Occasionally.
We have very dangerous cargo like any city, and we seem to have a little bit more with the number of plants that we have in our industry inside our city and what those industries produce. It's in the waterway on barges. We have stuff that come in to the city that way that we have to be prepared for. We have to be prepared for the highway incidents like what you was talking about. And also, we have a pretty good sized rail yard here, and those trains carry huge amounts of very dangerous hazardous materials in the city. Actually, the last 2 weeks we've been, we do training throughout the whole year. We have to have so many hours of training. In these past 2 weeks, all our engine crews have been rotating through in hazmat preparation and decon preparation if we should have something. So today is finishing up where we should have all 8 stations on all 3 shifts, a refresher on the hazmat today.
Excellent.
Yep.
So I know that things that we talk about whenever we visit are the retirees, those that we expect to retire over the next couple of years.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about what someone interested in joining Decatur Fire and Rescue, how they would go about that, and why should they join?
Joining is a pretty simple. If you wanted to become a member of Decatur Fire, it's really simple. We have 2 ways we can do that. There's an open process where if you have no experience, no training, you can apply through an open process, take a test, take an oral interview. They'll rank your points and they'll hire how many they have for open positions. And then we'll send you to rookie school. It varies a little bit, probably a 9 to 13 week time that you'd be in rookie school, where you get your firefighter 1, firefighter 2, rapid intervention teams, hazmat tech, EMT basic. We would provide all those classes for you. We also have another avenue to come to work here, and we've been utilizing it over the past few years, and we have gotten some really good employees through that. But it's what we call our lateral transfer program. People don't transfer in at different ranks. They only transfer in as firefighters. You could be a higher rank than a firefighter at the department you was at, but when you come here, you start out at the firefighter rank. And then, of course, more experience, more years of service, you could be higher on our pay scale when you do that. But if you want to do that, you can apply online at the city's website, or you can go to the personnel board upstairs on the second floor and fill out an application up there with them also.
Okay, good.
We're actually hiring, got confirmed today. We got 2 more gentlemen we're hiring. It's going to be starting March the 8th to replace some guys that retired. So we're excited to have them in here.
So are these laterals?
They are, both of them.
Good. Seems that quite a few folks would like to come work for the department because of the training, because of the equipment. It has just a really good atmosphere to it.
Right. We have been lucky. Our department's got some really, really good employees. They're some of the best that I know of. I've been on training classes. I've been to different places with them doing different things, and they always excel in what they're doing. They do really good work, and we have some guys that are just phenomenal teachers and when they go out. Brandon Strickland, Greg Heatherly, Nathan Springer, Chris Phillips, Josh Cardwell. I could go a whole list of people. But these guys, they not only help teach our people, but they also go out and teach other people. They go and teach classes for the Alabama Fire College. And they've gotten a really good name, and they've helped give Decatur a really good name. But it didn't just start with these guys. It's been guys, people that's worked here for years, people before I ever started here that laid the foundation for what this department could be. Some hard-working people that really care about the citizens and the job that they do. We're really lucky to have these guys here with us right now.
Absolutely. I'm glad I know the names that you called,
right.
Each individual. And
I have to throw in there too, we said earlier, I hired in here in January of 1999. There was some young little kid, maybe 22 years old, and he was our instructor, Sean Chandler, and he is taught and he has helped mold so many firefighters in the state of Alabama and other places also. He goes off and teaches. We've been really lucky over the years to have him here, and I was in Decatur's very first rookie school, and Lieutenant Chandler taught at rookie school, and it was hard. They would fuss at him because he was being too hard on him. You got to be easier on him, but he taught us a lot, and he taught us how to be good firemen, and he's taught people below him how to keep teaching what he's taught. So when he's gone, and he's planning on retiring this year. He's served us well, and we've been really lucky to have him here.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So tell us, what's your favorite part about being a firefighter?
It's a lot of parts. When it comes down to it, I think everybody is a true fireman. They have a place in their heart to help people. And sometimes we go do stuff, and you don't really know if you've helped anybody, or if you're supposed, if you really need to be there for that call. But when you go to those ones where you know that you've done something to make a difference in somebody's life, where it's a full arrest and you get able to get a pulse back on somebody, or somebody's hurt, or somebody's house is on fire. Man, when you get those calls where you know in your heart that you've done something to make a difference in somebody's life, that's what makes you proud to be a fireman.
So, boy, spending time with y'all like I do, kind of branches off into 2 different avenues. I'm gonna take, so today we've had a fatality in our community.
Yes, sir.
We had a traffic fatality. And our guys have been there, and for me, if I were to work something like that, I would go home and take a shower and crawl up in bed, and I'd be done for the day. And for these guys, they're professionals. They've been trained, and they go back to the station, and they decompress the way that they know that they need to decompress. They eat and get around the table like you're talking about. But while they're doing that, the alarm could go off again and call them back out, which it frequently does,
Yes, sir.
into duty. And that is a very unusual profession, a unique profession is what I'd say. And then I said a couple of different trains of thought. That call where lift assistance is needed, or someone has fallen, and the department goes into the neighborhood where they're known, and they assist with something like that. And you might elaborate on this, but I know of stories where one of the firefighters on the team will go into the kitchen and just senses that there's a need to look in the cupboard or the refrigerator to see if there's any food in there.
I know of some of the guys before that have went to some people's house and they didn't have any food, and they left, used their own money, and went and bought groceries and took back to those people and give to them. And they didn't want, they didn't want nothing to be said about it. They didn't do it for somebody to say good job. They go there and they see a family that doesn't have anything, and they was able to help them out when they needed some help.
And they have the senses to know to go and.
Right. And like I've seen guys go and do different things. They'll go to somebody's house for something, and they end up doing more than what they're supposed to. They have stuff in the way, and they'll move it, or they'll go get them stuff, and bring it to them. They may be in a bed bound, and they'll go get them stuff and take it to them, so they'll have it there beside them. People run out of gas. I've seen them help get gas. I've seen them stop and change people's tires for them. Like I said, I'm so proud and honored to be working with these guys. They are truly a great bunch of individuals.
So I could sit here and talk with you for 30 minutes. Think the world of you and what you do, and the department and the team.
Thank you.
But now, here you are, you're the chief, you're the leader of the department. I know you like to be hands-on and right in the middle of everything. Chief Kilgore used to do that. I think he used to go to every call. But now as chief, if you look at more long-term, where would you want the department be in 10 years?
I want to make sure that when my time as chief is over, it's better than what it was when I got here. We got a good department. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that no matter how good anything is, you can always improve on it and make it better.
Sure.
I want it to be better, and I want to, I want this department to be known for doing even more than what it is now. I want to see our community risk reduction and our public education programs to be expanded, and get out into the public with people and try to reduce the number of fires that we have out in the public. I want to see that all of our apparatus, all our equipment, all our buildings get on some type of replacement plan so we can make sure we have the very best stuff for these guys to be using. Like I said before, we want to make sure we get that ISO, and then once we get that ISO 1, that we keep it, that we don't slack and do stuff that would keep us from not, when they come back and check us again, that we still got what we need to have. We have a training center down there, and we have these guys that do training, but we have so much more potential of what that training center can do and what it can provide for other fire departments around. We got a burn building and training tower that a lot of departments would love to have and have access to. And I want to make sure that we use it to our fullest potential of training our guys and other departments around us also. We have a really good working relationship with the industry right now, and I want to make sure that even gets better with our department. Some of the industries come in and train with us. Some of them we go on site. I'd like to see us improve or increase our number of trainings that we have with each other. And most of all, one of the biggest things too is we touched on it a while ago. You know, I want DFR and Decatur Fire to be known as a family fire department, and I want to enhance that. I want it to be even more important. I want the young guys to see that it needs to be a family and participate in events and things that we have. And I want their families to be part of this department. You know, we're proud of it and we want to share that with them. You know,
and something we haven't touched on, I can't believe, and I'm here, I get at the tail end. COVID has just really kind of had a big impact on that family because you couldn't go between stations and things of that number. We were closed off to the public to try to keep everybody well. Just the COVID brought a lot of changes to everything that you just talked about.
Yeah, it's been really hard. The guys are out and they're used to interacting with the public and people coming into the stations. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many kids come by and just want to look at the fire truck, and you know, we had to say, no, you can't be coming through our station right now. And of course, we've changed some of our stuff now. We can let them in some of the areas, not to some of the private areas, but the open areas where the truck and stuff is. We can have a little bit more, you know, interaction with them. COVID is one of the big things, and you mentioned on it a while ago, you'd been to some of the events where we had firemen come back retired and current firefighters. We started a couple of years a pancake breakfast for all the retired firefighters. And man, it was just a true joy and blessing to see those guys come back.
Sure.
And some of them hadn't seen each other in years. And you know, it was just it was amazing to see all them together. And me and you know, Brent Fincher, we was cooking some pancakes, and I was like, hey, listen to that. And you could just hear them laughing, you know, just so loud. You know, it was so good for them to see each other and spend time together. I said, man, that's what it's about. You know? It's for them, those relationships. And also, like you talked about, where the pictures were, you know, we planned on having that annual picnic or cookout, you know, and we couldn't have the pancake breakfast for the retirees, and we wasn't able to have the picnic this year. But hopefully, you know, we're gonna get that started back up, because I think it's really important that young guys see what they're working on now has got them in a position of where they're at now, and the older retired guys see that there's some good guys that's carrying on what they've worked on throughout their career. You know.
Yeah, it's all good. I said that I'd already asked my last question, but I have one more. Right. And I know you know the answer that I hope you'll share. So we have 8 stations, right? You counted off 8 stations. Where should Station 9 go?
You know where Station 9 needs to go. We need to be looking at land for Station 9 across the river.
In Limestone County?
With the overpass and everything that's gonna be going on with the auto plants and all the industry and stuff that's out there. We need to be proactive and be looking at doing a station there. And we have about as big a need to be looking southwest also to make sure we got our coverage area. You know, new subdivisions are coming up, and every time they build something new, it's a little bit further away from the station we got now, and it decreases the amount or increases the amount of time that it takes us to get from that station and other secondary responding stations to those areas. So we're going to have to really address that. It's a good problem to have. It's good to see Decatur growing, and you know, we just got to make sure we keep growing with it.
Very good. Chief, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for joining us today. Remember that you can sign up for our newsletter by texting Decatur to 42828, and our next edition comes out Friday, March the 5th. Our next municipal update will be next Friday at 3 p.m. And then I believe we're back in here Monday at 11 for a COVID update. I'm looking at, I think it's 11. If not, you will see something that will give you an update if you'll visit our Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day.